Welcome once again here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. My name is Paul Condry. I'm the president and founder of Regional Radio Sports. Once again, glad you can join us here for the Scott Cooper Show. We welcome you to Indiana University South Bend at the Student Activity Center. Coach Cooper with us here today, and three wonderful athletes here on the campus of IU South Bend. Coop, first of all, show number 3. It's a busy, busy fall. Let's just talk about some of the specifics going on before we talk to our athletes. Number one, everybody off to what I call a rip-roaring start. Everybody getting a chance to play. I know Bobby Barnes, the soccer team, making great strides. The volleyball team still struggling through some of the injuries, and I know one of the primary clogs of the volleyball team is with us, is out for the year, and Saria Vander Orb will be talking about those dynamics. But busy time of the fall here in Indiana.
Yeah, you're not kidding. And for me doing the interim AD bit now, it's the last week or so has been just nonstop go, 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 go. Both these teams had games last night. We had a men's basketball scrimmage, a women's basketball scrimmage, and baseball and softball are still out practicing and all that stuff. So we have been busy in every way. An athletic department can be busy with only 6 teams. So.
Well, I know one thing that's very, very exciting for you. Your daughter, Sophia, had her first birthday, so congratulations to that. I know that's always one of those life moments, so congratulations to you and Janelle.
Yeah, we were the over-under on whether or not she would make it there without a major injury was pretty low, so we were happy to make the over. But, we're excited. We're excited. But even though yesterday, I had to go pick up the kids early and, do a little birthday bit for her where they do the smash cake and the stuff that people do for their 1-year-olds. And then as soon as that was done, I had to come back over here and get ready for the scrimmage. So and then we had a little issue there with the timing of the women's soccer game, so we're dealing with all that all in one day. But it's been good, and she's healthy, wealthy, and everything we could ask for.
So let's talk about what you got planned here for today's program, episode number 3.
Yeah, well, today we've got Saria Vander Orb, we've got Maya DeChano, and Katie Jones here from the respectively from the women's volleyball team and the women's soccer team. Both of them are up nice and early today after getting back late and whatnot last night. So we're happy to join us. We're trying to get to know these guys a little bit here, and then we're going to try a couple of new bits here today to see how it goes. I've been on the road quite a bit the last few weeks and listened to a lot of podcasts, and I think we got some stuff that'd be fun to let us get to know. I think the fun part about working in college athletics is getting to know your athletes, and especially as we get older and realize the generational gaps. Kind of hear how they grew up and stuff like that. So we're gonna have some fun and see what we can do here towards the end of the show.
Once again, glad you're going to join us here for episode number 3. All right, let's get right to it, Coach. What do you got planned for today?
Well, we're going to start off. We'll start off with my first gimmick. We're going to do a little draft here. Is anybody familiar with the draft? You guys watch professional sports and stuff like that? Okay. Paul is a child of the what we'll say 60s and 70s. All right. Myself, I was born in 1979, but like November of '79, so I really didn't spend much time in the '70s. I'm an '80s and '90s kid, and you all were born after 2000s. All right. So we're going to have quite different opinions on this. But what I want to start off with is we're each going to have 3 picks, since there's a lot of us here today. Normally, I'd probably try to do 5. But we're going to do 3 picks. All right, I'm going to give you a topic, and I want you to pick the 3 that stand out best to you. Okay, and we're going to kind of see the differences here. So, simple topic today, since it's the first time doing this. All right, I want you to name, of your generation, of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s for all of you. All right, your best movies, and you can't pick the same movies. So the 3 of you, you guys grew up at Hollywood's all over the place. You got 10,000 movies come out every year. We didn't have that. Growing up quite the same way, okay? So I'm going to lead off because it's my show and I get to. So for me, again, 80s and 90s kid right here, I'm going off an all-time greatest movie ever made, The Sandlot. All right, and I want you to try to explain yours a little bit, but Sandlot's got everything. Like, you guys are all smiling. Everybody knows The Sandlot, baseball, film, all that stuff. More quotable quotes than any movie ever. At some point in your life, you have said, "You're killing me, Smalls," I guarantee you, or talked about how to make a s'more or anything else. So for me, Sandlot, greatest movie. Let's go to Paul on this one because I'm curious to see where he comes from.
This is a no-brainer because every Friday of football season, which for me is 15 weeks, at 10 o'clock in the morning, this movie goes on while I do my final prep before each football game. Miracle.
Oh, yeah.
I had a chance to experience that up close and personal. The United States hockey team winning the gold medal in 1980, and from my perspective, it was the greatest sports moment of my generation, maybe even the last 2 generations. So that's a no-brainer for me. Miracle is the one.
Now, I'm going to call you out on this, Paul, because I think Miracle is an outstanding film myself. However, that was a movie made in, 2000 and 2000, right? 2004. I want to hear what you got from the 60s and 70s, your childhood movie.
My childhood movie.
Yeah, childhood. I'm childhood, adolescent, early teens.
Well, I tell you what, there are so many great movies, and they would always be the sports generation. But I don't have one from my time of growing up.
See, this is what we're talking about. Paul didn't have it the same way you guys. He had to wait until this time to find a great movie. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, the Lord of the Rings was a great movie, but once again, that was not during my childhood.
Yeah, that's right.
That was during my adult time.
Yeah.
I think that I had a greater appreciation for movies the older I got. And once again, the generational thing that the gals don't understand, that we didn't have VCRs, we didn't have those kind of things.
Yeah.
Whatever came up on television is where you went, or you went to the physical movies itself.
And right now, these three girls are asking, "What is a VCR?"
Yeah.
Hey,
I grew up on VCR.
All right, well that's good. All right. All right. Well, let's take it to you then. You got a VCR. What do you got here, Sri?
Well, if we're sticking with sports-related movies, I love Remember the Titans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Probably that's it. And it fits the show too, no less.
Exactly.
All right. And no explanation needed on that one. All right. Let's go. How about you?
I'm not sure exactly what favorite movie, but I like the Fast and Furious series.
Oh, wonderful choice. Wonderful choice. I spend way too much time. What are there, 10 of them now? 11 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's taking up a good portion of my time that I could probably be raising my kids or something functional like that.
How about you, Katie?
All right, I'm going to take it a whole different direction. I'm going to say Mulan.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we go on the Disney. I'll tell you what. During the pandemic time when we were all at home, when people didn't know what they were getting into, I had she's now 5, but at the time she was about 2, and Disney Plus had just come out. I can sing the song to every single Disney movie on the entire internet. So, all right. I'll tell you what. I'm going to come back here. I'm sticking with the 80s, 90s theme. I'm going to go with Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I dare you to find a scene in there that you don't enjoy. And see, again, you guys all know what I'm talking about, so you were raised right. You say good things about your parents now.
All right, are you leading with me again?
Back to you, Paul.
I tell you what, I can't think of any movie or funnier that if you're going to be talking in that genre than Animal House.
Oh,
Animal House
okay.
is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Seeing in your generation too.
Yes, it was.
That's wonderful. You guys probably haven't seen Animal House, have you?
No.
That's probably best. I don't know that it's aged as well for you guys, but it is an outstanding movie that I once had my wife. She was interviewing for a job in the legal field, and she had to do something along defending. I can't remember what the heck it was, but I made her watch Animal House and helped her put a presentation together for her from a bunch of legal folks to talk about that movie, which again is, if you've seen the movie, you'll think is a lot funner. If you haven't, you guys aren't going to know. So,
my next one would be Black Panther.
oh, okay, all right. Black Panther's a good movie. Any
Yeah.
superhero movie, I'm probably
Yeah.
going to agree with you, as I have a problem with those myself.
My next one would have to be the Divergent series. Divergent.
Divergence. Oh, those are the ones of the teen books that they made into movies,
Yeah,
correct?
it's kind of like the Hunger Games a little bit.
Okay, all right. I have not seen all those. I don't think I'm aware of them though.
All right, I'm going to go with Spider-Man. Any of those movies.
Those
All
are
right.
great.
Now we
Yeah.
got 3 genres of Spider-Man movies. We got the ones that came out in the early 2000s.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, exactly. So who's your Spider-Man? We need a little bit more.
I'm going to say Tom Holland on this
Tom
one.
has to go to the more modern ones. All right. So now we're back to me. There's a lot of pressure on me. Third fight. We got a lot of good choices here. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's back to me, right? Okay. We got 5 people here. This is intimidating for me. All right. Last pick for me. Let's see. And I got to preface this by saying it's the first movie I ever went to as a kid, or the first movie I can ever remember going to as a kid, is E.T. E.T. I did dare you to watch the end there when he's getting back on the thing. Exactly. Tanner's down in the background giving me the be good type of scene if you guys have ever seen it. And E.T. is the first movie I can remember going to as a kid. I was 1982 or something like that, right? It's a while ago. You guys, that was a year before 2000 something or other. But E.T.
Field of Dreams.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Field of Dreams is a good one. Field of Dreams is a little more my generation, but again, another good one. That's you can't go to a sporting event and not see a field of house. I can't write. Doesn't matter. I know what it means, but making sure I put this out on the socials too, so we can see how we age with all this stuff. So Field of Dreams is a good movie. All right. What we?
I'm going to throw a rom-com in there. I'm going to say 10 Things I Hate About You.
10 Things I Hate About You. Now, that's a little bit more my generation too. So you guys have been raised well. That's impressive. That's was it Heath Ledger and
Yeah.
what was her name? The main female lead in there, Dawn.
Oh,
Doesn't matter. She was
Yeah.
good. Yeah. 10 Things I Hate About You. All right.
Moana.
Moana. Hey. All right. So the song in Moana, "Thank You," I can sing verbatim and rap every single line of the thing there. It's like you like the Rock's version, you're gonna love mine, but I'm not gonna do that. We don't have that kind of time today.
All right, I'm gonna go with The Help.
The Help. That's a little more modern movie. That was a good one too.
Yeah. Really?
That was what I see. All right, so that was good. So what we found out from all this as we're looking at is, one, all three of you were raised wonderfully. You got great taste in movies, and two, Paul never watched a movie actually until he turned about 30. So that's what we're going for. But luckily has great taste in movies as well. So I appreciate that you guys are all off the draft hot seat now, and we'll come back to my other bit later. That's a little bit more sports specific, but. Yeah.
All right. Once again, the Scott Cooper Show, edition number 3. We'll be back right after this message. Welcome once again here to the Scott Cooper Show. Glad you can join us here for show number 3. Scott Cooper, the athletic director, as well as men's basketball coach here at Indiana University. Glad that you've hopped along here today. In case you just joined us, glad to have Katie, Maya, and Surya with us here today. Coop, all right, next part of this bit you got, what do you have for us in it's part 2?
All right, we're going to have some rapid-fire questions here about your programs. All right, these are going to be specific to you, so I'm not going to ask Surya the same questions that I'm going to ask both of you, but we're going to ask a little bit here. All right, so I'm going to start off with your coaches. Okay, I'm going to start off with a question about your coaches. So we'll start with you, Surya. Surya, Allison Derdzinski has one of the most difficult names in all of college athletics to spell. All right.
Oh, no.
Can you tell me what her maiden name is?
Oh. I don't think I can.
It was actually longer than her current name. It's Wolozinski.
Wolozinski.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sticking with the Zinski.
Yeah, she's definitely stuck to a genre of names. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next question for both of you. So I've known Coach Barnes for 12, 13 years now. We work together at Ohio Wesleyan University. So I'm going to throw this out to both of you at the same time, okay? And you guys both can have an answer for this. So for those of you who don't know, Bobby was a very successful coach at Ohio Wesleyan, won a couple of national championships there, a lot of conference championships, and won a couple during the time that I was working with him too. He had a house off campus where he lived by himself, and he rented out his extra rooms to assistant coaches like myself and a couple other people. So I lived with Bobby actually for a couple of years. He was in my wedding and all other kinds of things. So I've known him a long time, know him very well. But I am going to ask you guys straight up, since you guys haven't known him as long, have you ever seen him without his hat on?
Yes, when he's playing soccer with us, when he's practicing with us, we're very shocked when he takes his hat off. Yeah.
So he does take the hat off?
Yeah, only when he flips it back.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We get a
so
good,
it's not a
quick glimpse. Yeah.
All right. You had no idea.
Yeah, I've never seen him with it, only backwards.
Yeah.
I lived with the man. I've seen him with his hat off twice. I've seen him off the top. My wedding and one of our other friends' weddings.
Wow.
That's the only time I ever saw him without his hat on. All right. Back to volleyball here. All right, and this is actually going to be kind of the same question for both of you. All right. How many years have we had varsity volleyball here at Indiana University South Bend?
Oh, I want to say like 12.
12. I'll be honest with you.
13?
That's a little bit more than that. It's about 13 or 14 now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's
Well done.
Started
Yeah.
right before. That's a pretty good guess. All right, that's not bad. All right, this will be a little bit easier for both of you because you guys have been here for basically most of the existence of the program. Matter of fact, I think the second time you scored a goal, Katie, you became the all-time leading scorer in history. So, how many years have we had women's soccer?
I think 4.
Yeah.
4. That's correct. That is correct. And one of those was a COVID year, so we kind of making it up as we go along. You couldn't get that answer wrong so long as you get something greater than 3. So, all right. Next question to the volleyball team. Okay, how many national tournaments has the volleyball program part? I know you've been a part of at least one of them, so you're going to get at least part of this answer. How many volleyball? We got a lot of banners out there. How many times has the volleyball team been to the national tournament?
I want to say 3.
3, that's correct. 3 in 5 years. They had a great run there where they started off the season really poorly. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the history. They started off the season really poorly, barely got into the conference tournament, got in on a tiebreaker, and ended up going to the national tournament.
That
for the
was
very
right
first time.
before I came, I believe, like 1 or 2 years right before I came here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a good run. All right. I'm not going to ask you guys the same question. We've had a program for 4 years. All right, it's a little bit different here. All right. Before you both got here, you've been here for 2 years now. Is that correct? All right. Before you got here, what was the most goals we scored in a game as a soccer program?
In a game.
In a game. As a team, in a game. How many goals?
I'm going to say 2.
2, that is correct. Against Great Lakes Christian, I believe it was, out at here in Newton Park.
Oh.
All right, last question for all of you. Okay, last question for all of you. This is a big one now. Okay, this is probably the most important. I'm going to and this is going to go out to all 3 of you. Okay, of all the athletic directors you guys have had this year, all right, of all the athletic directors here, name your top 2.
Definitely Coach Bruce and Coach Cooper.
That's a wonderful answer. Now I'm going to put the pressure on you. Again, you got to get in your top 2. Don't have to have them in order. I know that Coach Bruce is the better one. It's fine. We all get that, and I agree.
That's B before C, right?
Yeah, exactly. We go alphabetical.
All right. I guess it's going to be Coach Bruce and Coach Cooper.
These guys, this is what we get incredibly intelligent women here. They actually got all those questions except for the Wolozinski one, but that was a tough one. I figured out to you earlier.
That is a tough one.
Yeah. So there's the end of our rapid fire segment, and they've done all right.
I would also say that Coach Bruce as well as Coach Cooper would be my top 2.
That's
not any particular order.
And he's been around, so he knows.
And I have been here since the beginning.
Yeah.
Not of just the show, but since the beginning when dirt was being formed and all that. We'll be back with more show number 3 of the Scott Cooper Show here from the Student Activity Center at Indiana University South Bend. Welcome once again here to the Scott Cooper Show. Glad you can join us here for show number 3 of our 23-24 school year. Coop, it's a busy time of the year and volleyball getting underway. Thanks again for the 2 entertaining first options we had here with our gals. Saria here is you've been through this before, Coach. You know what it's like to, number one, as a coach to lose a prime time player off your roster, and it affects everything. It affects team chemistry, and Saria's kind of going through that. You've been there as a coach. How difficult is it for the coach when you're counting on an athlete to be really kind of the quarterback? And in this case, that is the case for Saria as the quarterback of your team, to lose someone of pivotal importance. How difficult is it for you as a coach, and how difficult has it been for Allison to be able to play without her quarterback?
Well, I think you'd have to ask Allison. She's obviously in her second year, but it's tough. It's tough. Anytime you've got an experienced player that you're relying on to help, not just with the stuff that happens on the court, but with the stuff that happens off the court, it's difficult. And they're doing all the things they have to do to get healthy again and all that stuff like that. So they don't have this time to be around the team quite as much in the same way that they would be when they're going through that stuff together. So, you can say all you want when you're in that position. I'm sure you've gone through this a little bit this year too. But, you do all your planning around everything, having them there, and you're on the court and you're off the court, activities and practices, games, and, all the stuff that you do off the court with your team. But, they've got other priorities, and their first most important one is to get healthy, because they aren't, going to be able to help you down the line when they do finally get healthy again. And truthfully, I went through that as myself as an athlete. I blew out my knee in my junior year, and we had a really young team. It's very similar to what you guys are going through right now, and we've been very successful when I was younger, and then that junior year at that time was I believe the losingest team in school history. They have luckily surpassed that, and I no longer have that to fall back on. But yeah, I mean it's not easy, and like I said, when you're planning for certain things, and then your next backup plan is somebody who hasn't been with you the whole way, especially that's tough, and you lose a lot in leadership, you lose a lot in just confidence. I think that is so much of it too.
Saria, I know that number one, it's difficult, and you're in your own right with the physical and the mental aspect. But from an emotional standpoint, you want to be the leader of your team. You want to be able to be engaged with them as much as possible. And you have your chance to kind of put yourself into a coach's role and understand some of the things that Allison goes through. And so your role has become as an assistant coach, an encourager, instead of someone who's touching the ball on every play. And so talk to us about the differences and how you've been able to adjust yourself in your own role.
Yeah, like you said, I have kind of taken a coaching position. I try to help the girls, like technique-wise at practice, when I am able to make a good portion of the practice, because I do a lot of rehab. But even during the game last night, I'm talking to the girls, letting them know what's open on the court, where the hitters need to hit, what the other side's block is looking like, and then especially on defense, because obviously that's more my specialty, but talking about the girls on how to read the hitter and how to stay not behind the block, so you can see that hitter and you know where that ball's going and anticipating that ball, making sure you're staying low on defense, you're ready to move, and not getting caught in positions that's going to, cause you to let the ball drop, essentially. So, yeah.
You've also found yourself in a very unique position because you've had 3 coaches during your time, and that is in itself unique. Jamie Ashmore, and then you followed up with her hubby, and then, of course, now Allie's here in this situation. So talk about, kind of navigating through the 3 different types of personalities, 3 different – I'm sure the expectations for all 3 coaches were the same. So talk to us about how that was a transitional phase for you.
Jamie essentially was the one that recruited me here, but she did leave right before our season started, so I didn't get to see her coach and her coaching style as much, but I just heard the stories. She's intense and she expects a lot out of the girls, and because she obviously knows their talent and their potential, so I just knew she was pretty tough on the girls and pretty intense, but for good reasons, obviously. And then Adam, I actually was coached by his father at my junior college at MCC, so he is pretty similar to his dad. He's very with the stats. He loves numbers, and he liked to see how we were producing as a team, and he would tell us, different things we could do to help, those hitters produce on offense for us and what we needed to do that. So, and then Coach Al is also she's very fiery. She loves to fire us up, and she loves to tap into that more, emotional side of the game and kind of tap into like our, our motivation and why we're here and why we're playing. And so, yeah, there's 3 different coaching styles for sure, but I think each of them are succeeding in their own way. So.
You talked about stats and numbers, and the guy who's sitting to your left is all about numbers. He can tell you.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he can tell you, honestly, that how many times of the games that I've been here, what my record is in broadcasting his games. I will never forget the time, this was probably a half a dozen years ago, Coop says, when you're here doing the game, this is what our record is. When so-and-so was here doing the game, this is what our record is. So if anybody knows numbers, it's Coach Cooper. So, Coop, isn't it neat to know that there's other numbers guys out there?
Oh yeah, no, that's listen. As sports coaches, I don't care what sport you're in, whether it's baseball, soccer that doesn't have a lot of stats, volleyball that's got more stats than any human being ever knew existed. You need something to define what's going on other than just the game film, or you need to know what to look for in the game film, and that's what the numbers help you do. And again, volleyball, I don't even pretend. My sister played college volleyball, and to this day I couldn't tell you what an attack error is or any of that sort of stuff. But I mean, I think that they have so many different things that define what happened on the court, similar to the way baseball does, that they can look at, okay, I need to look at these 3 things when I'm watching film today, and it helps you navigate your time a little bit. It helps you use it as teaching points and things like that. And quite frankly, all the smartest people in the world just know a lot about numbers because they've all majored in math in college, like myself. But
Mrs. Condry, who is a graduate of Indiana University South Bend, is all about numbers, and I think that she would agree with your assessment.
Yeah.
That may be the first time that we've had an agreement on this program.
That's right. Well, you know what? Like I said, that's she's obviously clearly a very intelligent woman, and probably has great neighbors too.
Exactly. All right. Once again, Surya, continued success to you. I want to wish you best luck. Well, best luck with the rehab.
Thank you.
We all understand. I think that everybody who's ever been around athletics enough has been affected by this situation. It's a great challenge. It's the greatest challenge that you'll have in your young life. But I know Coach Coop will agree with me on this. The things you're learning now by having to sit by and go through this stuff is going to help you when you get out into the real world. And after college, these lessons, you'll be able to glean upon those at a later date.
I agree. Yeah.
Keep up the great work, kiddo.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll be back with part 4 of Season 3 right after this from the Student Activity Center at Indiana University South Bend.
Welcome back to the Scott Cooper Show here. Just to get everybody in frame here, that Paul stepped out for a second, so I'm running the show. My name's on it. We might as well, right? So we're joined here by Katie Jones and Maya DeChanu of the women's soccer team. Maya from Lake Troy, Ohio, which that as an Ohio native, I can tell you is out there a little bit. And Katie, you're from somewhere in Illinois, correct?
St. Charles, yep.
St. Charles. Oh, St. Charles. Okay, so you're up in the Chicago area. All right, no, never mind. Everybody's heard of that one. So. So tell me a little bit, because you come into a new sport. You guys are both very talented soccer players, but it's different when you're starting a program, right? You guys have obviously probably been this. Tell me about for each of you, what made you decide to come to IU South Bend, knowing that you're going to go through a growing process and everything else that goes with starting a new program.
I know for me that a big thing was just I want to be a part of the change. I don't want to just join something and kind of coast through it. I want to change a program and help it out.
Okay. How about you?
Yeah, I would have to say the same thing. To be a part of something that is greater than you and that will help the future generations.
Okay. All right. Now, you both obviously were here last year when we're basically in, we'll call it year one for lack of a better term, just due to COVID. And then, this year where, things are going better, we've tripled our win total now, we're doing well. Talk about that process and maybe the attitudes within the team, because from the outside looking in, you guys are competing one a heck of a lot more. Like last night, you guys, from everything I heard, I wasn't there last night, but I saw two people who were, and Lou Reynolds and Lauren Burge, who were both covering the games in their respective jobs, and they were both really excited for you guys. Like, you really must have played well. You must have been very competitive, whereas in the past, it was 8-0, 10-0 type of games, and all of a sudden now you guys are in there. You're scoring goals more this year. You're playing good teams closer. Talk about that process and what that's been like for both of you.
I feel like it's great just to see the change and play with that change, because obviously last year, like you said, we could barely get 11 on the field, and now it's just great to see all these attitudes that have changed, and we're just bonding a lot more and having a great time.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like with the freshmen coming in, they're new, and it's kind of changing everyone's outlook on the team and like wanting to do better and be more competitive, even if we don't get the wins that we would like, just to compete with other programs.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going into year three for both of you here next year, correct? Do you have another year?
No, I'm a senior this year.
I couldn't tell. The COVID thing's got me all
Right.
messed up here, so a little bit. But all right, for year three for you, continue to make this growth. What's that look like for next year?
I mean, I want to win, but like ultimately that's not the top priority. As long as we're getting better and we're more competitive and we're working in the off season to get better, to do those things in the fall season, I feel like that would be good and to prosper as a team.
Okay. And Katie, you as an alumna looking back, being a part of what you talked about, being part of something bigger and then being part of the change and all that stuff, what do you think that looks like from the outside looking in next year? Are you back watching games?
Oh, yeah. I'll be supporting every game, whether it's from my couch or at the game. And I'm just excited to see it grow, honestly. The potential is all there.
All right,
It's
great.
exciting.
Great. Now, what do we have? We got 2 weeks left of the soccer season. Hopefully maybe we can squeeze into that, conference tournament if at all possible. But even if we don't, obviously it's been a much better year. 10 years from now, you're looking back on this experience, and let's just say it just stopped today. Let's just say it stopped today. Obviously it's not going to stop today, but let's say it did. What are you reflecting on? What is it you're looking back on fondly?
Just
put you on the spot
the
here, didn't
attitudes, because we never gave up. And I'm just so proud of us for never giving up and just constantly pushing through.
Yep, working through our adversity, through our team. We had a lot of injuries last year. Even this year, we've come up with quite a few. But, yeah, and having fun and making the most of what we have.
Right.
Okay, good. Now, all right, last question for you here. You guys both chose IU South Bend, obviously, in large part for the program and to be a part of the change and all that stuff that you talked about. How about academically and off the field? What would you say to potential recruit coming in here that's looking at being a part of the women's soccer program? When I sell a program, it's always academically, athletically, socially. Here's what we think we're getting into, and then I let the players sell that. They sell it. Your players are always your best recruiters, and in both of your cases, you guys have been here for literally almost the entire history of the program. So nobody's going to have a better voice than you. What are you telling somebody?
The school environment is amazing. The education is obviously amazing. And then, I don't know, it's just great to be a part of, just this socially.
Yeah, and I feel like if you want a smaller campus, but like not super small, this is perfect because you get to know your professors on a name-to-name basis, and the education is phenomenal, and the program it's working its way up. It's in process, so I feel like that has a lot to do with that.
Okay. Well, that was Katie Jones and Maya Deshanu of the women's soccer team here at IU South Bend. If you haven't had a chance to get out and see them play, we've got a few more opportunities this year, and I think you're going to like what you see. I've had a lot of fun watching you guys play this year, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more of the Scott Cooper Show right after this on Regional Radio Sports. Welcome back here for our final segment here of the Scott Cooper Show. Got you popped along with the Student Activity Center. Paul Condry again with Coach Coop. Coop, first of all, nice addition to the program today. You got on that creative mode. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I've had a lot of meetings on the road the last couple of days. I've had a lot of chance to listen to a lot of podcasts, and I think one of the things that you guys do best as an organization is, and it's in your mission statement there, is positively promote the student athletes. So I want to make sure we had an opportunity to do that, because one of the things I've really enjoyed being in this interim role is getting to know a lot more of the student athletes and getting to meet their personalities outside of just my own team. And they're a fun group of kids, so it's nice to be able to have some fun with them.
Yeah, just as a selfless plug here, don't forget that you can join us on the Coaches Box if you're here locally, or even online at www.globeradio.org or 91.1 FM, because on our weekly talk show, that's the kind of conversation that we have. We don't have a chance to get in depth. We have a chance to ham it up and have a good time. But let's talk real quickly. Basketball is going to be getting underway by the time this show hits the airwaves, if you will. I know scrimmages are going along for Coach Bruce as well as yourself. I know we haven't talked to Coach Bruce as of the last couple of days. How is he doing with his group, and how is your group doing? You guys played last night.
I think they're both doing well. They had a scrimmage last night against Lake Michigan College. I know there's some things that they like. There's probably some things that they're going to need to get from a little more competitive team to see. But, I think that they've got a chance to be very good again, and having all the experience back that they do, especially with that core of, the guard twins and Emma Fisher and some of those other girls that have been here before that, are now going to move into bigger roles this year. I think he's excited about what he's got, and they got a chance to, go back to back. From our end, we're working in a lot of new faces. We've been very competitive with a good team in Indiana Wesleyan, and last night we played, Ancilla College, and we won. There were some things that we need to do better, but I'm excited about it. I think we're far, far ahead of where I expected us to be at this point, and if we can, continue that trajectory, that we're going to be in good shape.
All right. Once again, thanks for joining us here from the Student Activity Center. Don't forget, next time, Coach Cooper will be singing all of the Disney film leads, as he will come back and share some of those dynamics.
Everybody should be so lucky,
Everybody should be. Once again, a special thanks to Tanner Camp for his great work here today, as well as for Andrew Kirksey, our film editor, for all of us at the Regional Radio Sports, and everybody here at the Student Activity Center on the campus of Indiana University South Bend. I'm Paul Condry. Thanks for joining us here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.